Alright, so I'll wait for some people to join in. Let's see. Hey, Daniel. Yeah, I saw you had a tornado watch in your area. I'm glad you're safe, man. Trust me, those are never fun. I've had my share of tornado scares in the past. Make sure that's good. Okay, cool. Where is the thing that I am looking for? Let's see. TV8's Diecast, Suarez fan, Polycube. How are you guys? Good to see you all. I know the Xfinity race at Nashville just wrapped up. So it was a miserably hot day. Practically the same here, and I'm just up the road in Cincinnati. So yeah, I actually worked early bird shift. I woke up at like 3 a.m. I walk outside. I'm like, I felt like I hit a brick wall of just mugginess and humidity, and I'm like, that's honestly what it felt like. And it's actually been raining. It's supposed to be much nicer tomorrow, but oh my gosh, yeah, it was just brutal, absolutely brutal. But no tornado here. We all good. It's June. It's hot yeah, exactly. Let me make my tweet saying we are live. Join the fun. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, today we will have a pair of Sunday Night Lights mock races from the Chicago Street Circuit. I will tease, in between races, I will tease something for the next Racing Infinity. And then I'll discuss some updates for Sunday Night Lights 1998. That's coming along pretty well. I did see the notification for the new Fork in the Road. I have not gotten to watching it, but I absolutely will. I'm looking forward to seeing what all happens in it. So, and I think you guys are gonna love what you see so far in Sunday Night Lights 1998. Obviously, I can't give much away, and first thing I'll go ahead and discuss that. So, I will update you on where we currently stand with it. So, we've been doing the races. We have completed the races for IMSA Stock GT, Super Sportsman, the trucks, and IROC. And we'll get Busch going here within the next couple of days. And, I don't have an exact date or time when that video gets released. When I get closer to actually getting to making the video itself, I'll let you guys know what's going on for sure. Oh, I see. I see what you mean. This will be the 2023 one. So the other one, of course, was the Chicago Pier, which I did a Racing Infinity on. This one will be the actual one that we debuted last year. So yeah, this will be I probably should have clarified that. That's a good point. So this is the 2023 Chicago Street Course, the Grant Park one, I'll say. Anyway, without spoiling anything, there are a lot of crazy things and really neat things that happen. I think you're gonna love what you see. A lot of exciting moments, and it'll all come together before you know it. So, and before I jump into doing the first race, so I'll do the 97 Busch Series from Chicago. I'm going to have cautions turned off because, well, you know how road courses can be sometimes. The reason why I picked or I picked Chicago is because I feel like an event such as running a street circuit race is really important for the sport. Last year's was such a big deal, and obviously Mother Nature tried to rain on it, but it all somehow still managed to work out. A lot of the people that bought tickets stayed, and they saw the race, and there was, from what I've read, from everything I've seen, there was a lot of genuine interest. There was a lot of people who were NASCAR fans who were like, oh, this is really cool, this is new, this is neat. There were some people who didn't even know NASCAR that even was like, hey, what's going on here? This is kind of cool. There's something going on in town. Let's see what this is all about. I think they said like a really good majority of tickets last year were all new fans. And that's good. I know people want Chicagoland back. And it would be great for it to see racing again for sure. But the reason why, and people are like, oh, we need to go back there. Like, the reason why that they're doing the street circuit is because of doing these different things. And especially that a lot of racetracks aren't technically near a city, right? Gateway is near the city. Indianapolis, probably a few others that I'm not thinking of. But, of course, Indianapolis, that one was kind of grandfathered in. But that's the only place probably where you won't hear people complain about noise complaints. And even the LA Coliseum, that's important too, because that was totally different. Because when they announced that, I remember I was door dashing and I saw the news. I'm like, wait, did I just see that they're putting a race in the LA Coliseum? How's that going to work? And they pulled it off. And, it brought in a bunch of interest in a market that I think is very crucial and important to NASCAR. It's the second largest market, Los Angeles. And I think that's going to bring in a lot of big sponsors, a lot of big people. They go, oh, wow, they're doing this at the LA Coliseum. That's one of the most historic sporting venues in the world. And I'll be honest with you, when I compare the street race, and obviously I love racing and I love motorsports. I'm trying not to bash F1 here, but I do want to point out that I do think NASCAR with the Chicago street race was handled much better. And obviously, and I know some people complain about the ticket packages, but would you rather pay $270 for that whole weekend there, or pay like $3,000 for standing room seats at the Las Vegas Grand Prix? So, I think NASCAR handled the Chicago street race really well, and I wouldn't mind having 2 street races on the schedule and going to different places in these different cities, because it seemed like there were quite a few cities that were interested in doing a street race. I'm not saying do a bunch of them like F1's doing, no, but I think it's important for NASCAR to have this really, really diverse schedule, right? That's why I thought it was cool to experiment with the Bristol dirt track, right? That was cool to experiment. Going to all these different places. I think that's really, really important. And I know, and I really, really hope that we get Mexico City or Montreal next year, and at least finally get the Cup Series into the international scene, right? Because I think that's important. Because I think NASCAR should start pushing for that kind of stuff and get the sport out there, because it's not a regional sport like it was 40 years ago. It's everywhere. This is a sport that I think is nationally loved. It is still the most popular motorsport in America, and I really think it's important to go to all these different tracks and all these different places. The Midwest is an example. I talked about Chicago. Gateway has been a success, which from the rumors are saying Gateway might be a playoff track next year, which, you're throwing in a market like St. Louis into the playoffs. I think that'll create a lot of hype and buzz for sure. And for whatever reason, the track has had a lot of buzz going into the race, whether it's silly season or whatever else. Because last year it was Elliott getting suspended, and Corey LaJoie taking the 9 for that race, Hocevar's Cup debut. This year it was Stuart Haas shutting down and everything else, and so. And that's just one example. Obviously, Iowa was a huge success. I think Iowa provided a great race, and it was a great crowd. I think they could add some more seats, but Nashville maybe more southeast, but and those are just examples because NASCAR's for, and I think when you do stuff like the Chicago Street Course, and you do stuff like the LA Coliseum, you are able to showcase that, hey, this is a sport for you and me. This is a sport for everybody, and I think that's what we need to push for. Is that, hey, anybody can enjoy this, right? So yeah. Andrew, how you doing? Iowa was one of my favorite. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Iowa put on a great race, and I know, a lot of people have not been a fan of how the short track racing scene has been, but I'll be honest with you, I thought Iowa was pretty good. It was a great race. It was an exciting one. Too bad I can't go to a race anymore since they basically killed the racing in SoCal. Yeah, and I'm still hoping we get the Auto Club short track, because I think SoCal is a huge, important market to be in. I was hoping they would do Long Beach, the street circuit there, because I think that could be fun, and I think that's a really cool place for NASCAR to go to. So obviously, hopefully they can get racing back in SoCal soon. We'll see, because there was rumors about Dodger Stadium and everything else. I was hoping they would bring back the Coliseum for next year, because I felt like this year's race was kind of done dirty just because of the problem with the weather, and they had to move everything up suddenly, and it was just a really unfortunate set of circumstances. I thought it was really cool to bring in the Mexico series, because I think giving those series exposure to was awesome, and I really enjoyed that race. That was cool. I know Suarez won, but that was fun, and I wouldn't mind checking that out, or even the Canadian series, or even the European series, because I know Ryan Vargas has been doing a lot of stuff there. He's been, they were racing, I forgot the name of the place, but they were racing on an oval over there in Europe. And funny enough, Ryan Vargas was on the podium, and he referenced a wrestler named Joe Hendry, and Joe Hendry gave him a shout-out, which, again, to be able to, get more people engaged and involved in the sport, I think is really good. And I admit, I hope people don't get mad when I say this, but that's kind of why I'm kind of iffy about Bowman Gray, as I'm doing qualifying here. Let's see. Oh, we got an all-female front row. Tammy Jo Kirk on the pole, Patty Moy starting second, followed by Dale Jr., Jeff Gordon, Todd Bodine, Elton Sawyer, Elliott Sadler, Mark Martin, Casey Elliott, and Hermie Sadler. I almost wanted to say Chase, but then I realized this is 1997. Hey, Corvette, how you doing? Gene Haas is actually staying in NASCAR. Yes! Yeah, I want to bring that up, too. I'll bring that up in a minute. The NBC coverage was so good. Yeah, random idea, but what would you think about a NASCAR IMSA doubleheader? Because a few road courses and ovals are available to do both. I think you could pull it off. I think there's a few places you could do something like that. Create a really fun weekend in motorsports. Say his name and he appears. That's right. I believe in Joe Hendry. Thank you, Venray in Netherlands. That's right. Yeah. And again, I think it's cool to, that video I did at the 500 last year, I met a couple of Gordon Barnes. He's a driver that races over there in one of the Euro series for NASCAR, and and Chris Lehman. I got to talk to those two. It was really cool talking to those guys, and they were giving the support to I forgot his name. He was from Portugal running the ARCA race at Daytona. But again, it's really neat to see that NASCAR has this international presence. In 2001, Kyle Busch was kicked out of a Truck Series race because of because there was a kart race sponsored by Marlboro. Yeah. I admit I haven't given that much thought, but that's something that when the time comes, I'll address it for sure and see what we do moving forward. I know I was about to talk about Bowman Gray, but with Gene Haas, I think this further proves that I think Tony Stewart just wanted out. That I think maybe he just wasn't really interested in doing this anymore, and Gene Haas was. And Haas is like, well, let me just scale down and have this team. Which it's great he's staying. Or else, he'd have to, go shift his focuses to running in the back in Formula 1. But, sorry, that was mean. I did turn cautions off for this race because I know there's going to be some incidents, and I don't want half the race to be cautions. So make your all's life a little easier. Saw the newest episode of Fork in the Road. Okay, I admit I have not seen the new Fork in the Road, but that is intriguing. Was that an actual rumor in real life? Huh. But yeah, I think after the stream I'll probably watch that. Yeah, that would be neat. That would be Dale's, unless he wins another one before then, it would be his fourth 500 win in SNL, which is kind of crazy to think about that. Let's see. Use the Kansas Roval, cowards. Goodness. So let me at least go through the starting lineup. So as I said, we have an all-female front row. We got Tammy Jo Kirk and Patty Moyes, Dale Jr., Jeff Gordon, Bodine and Sawyer, Elliott Sadler and Mark Martin, Casey Elliott, Hermie Sadler, Johnny Benson, and Dale Jarrett. I agree. Fork in the Road's pretty cool. I definitely recommend giving them a watch. Dale Shaw, John Nemechek, Rodney Combs, Kenny Brack. Oops. Lost track of where I was. Tim Fudua and Randy LaJoy. Rick Mass and Jeremy Mayfield. Yes. And then Blaze Alexander, Phil Parsons. What am I doing? Goodness. Hut Strickland and Mike McLaughlin. Stevie Reeves and Mark Green. What in the world? We got Marty Burke and Mike Wallace. Dick Trickle, and that's Kevin LePage in the 88. I don't know why it's skipping the cars like that. That's weird. Brett Bodine, Jeff Fuller, Joe Bessie, Bobby Dotter. We got Tony Stewart in the field. We got Jason Keller, Mike Harmon, Jimmy Spencer, Glenn Allen Jr., Laura Lane, and Grant Adcox. And that is your starting lineup for the Chicago race. Also, since I know you've been to a few games, how about the Cincinnati Reds today? I need to go see a game. I need to go catch the Reds play this year. I did not see how they did. I can't. They've really been struggling. Did they win today? Let me see. Oh, they won today. Yay! That's cool. It's funny because my dad's a Cardinals fan, so we have fun with that. Although I admit I do have a soft spot for the Cardinals too, so I'm weird that way. Yeah, good to see the Reds win always. But anyway, one thing I wanted to discuss as we get this race rolling here in just a minute, because I was talking about the Chicago Street Race and why an event like this is so important. Sam Mark's team is a Pontiac, but an event like this is so important because you're in the city, you're able to bring in all these people and bring in new fans, and that's what the sport needs, to bring in all these new and different fans, and And again, I think it's important that drivers and teams engage when it comes to events like that in the LA Coliseum. That's why I'm kind of iffy on Bowman Gray being the potential host of the Clash next year. Obviously, celebrating the history and grassroots racing, that's never a bad thing, but I just think you're catering to the crowd that, yes, you're familiar with, but a place like, and not to mention, that track's got a bad reputation. I mean, I literally watched a clip from a year or two ago where a guy drove the opposite direction and another guy that he was chasing after, drove onto the grass and they crashed into each other. And I'm like, I don't want the Cup Series to be like that. That's why I'm a little iffy. I just think that, I wonder if this was like a last resort for not finding anything else, because I don't know. I feel very iffy on that.
Start your engines!
All right, you heard the command. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on that. But yeah, let's have some fun in Chicago. We're going racing right away. That sounds good to me. And here we go. We're racing from Chicago. The 1997 Busch Series is, for a technical reference, the reason sometimes it skips over drivers when lined up. The coordinates in the INI are... Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah, that's true with North Carolina. It's tricky because it's February, so you got to be, And again, on one positive note, yeah, you're not going back to Daytona again, because I think it's just doing some different things is important, but I have my concerns for Bowman Gray. But yeah. All right, let's see if any wrecks have happened yet. Nope, we're pretty clean so far. Tammy Jo Kirk leading the way. I will say this. I would love to have a street circuit race for NASCAR at some point for SNL, but for the time, I just don't know what works. Bowman Gray should give WSSU alum Stephen A. Smith to do the PA. Yes. Oh, gosh. Stephen A. Smith, he's something else. On the topic of North Wilkesboro, I think it's great that track got revitalized, because, a lot of tracks like that don't get that. But I think it's good that at least that track, and I think that track could be a great grassroots epicenter. But I don't know if you can do a Cup Series points race, just because of how everything's kind of changed and how stuff, how do I put it? The world has changed. And my question is, can you bring potential new fans to Wilkes County, North Carolina? And I think that might be a struggle, because kind of how I see it is, I feel like my generation and the younger generation want to be closer to the city. That's weird to say that, I know, but I just have those concerns. And again, there's, we could potentially have... Oh, Patty, no! Patty. She slid and hit the wall. She's going to lose some spots there. That is a shame. She's back up and running, though. Still in the top 10. Right behind her hubby, Elton Sawyer. What was I saying? So, with North Wilkesboro, again, love that it came back. Love that it got revitalized. I just don't know if it can do a points race long term. That might, I don't know. And plus, you don't want to oversaturate North Carolina. And yeah, you could say, well, there's a lot of fans there. Yes. But again, I'm just kind of worried that, you're making NASCAR look like it's always been the Southeast, which what I said, like NASCAR is a national major league thing. So, that's why I said it's important. And, I'm not saying push aside the grassroots stuff. There is a possibility to try and find a balance and say, why not both? Because again, it's great to have the Chicago Street Race, the LA Coliseum, and bring in stuff like Coda and Gateway and Nashville. So, maybe there's a way you could find that balance, right? Robots. Oh, I remember that movie. I remember when that movie came out. Rodney Copperbottom Combs. Rodney Combs is actually a Cincinnati native. And another card in the wall. That's Todd Bodine. But yeah, Rodney Combs. It was funny because there's a Facebook page I follow that's called Old Photos of Cincinnati. Because sometimes I get fascinated with stuff like that. Somebody posted pictures not too long ago of a track called Tri-City Speedway. I think that's what it was called. And a guy named Tim Combs said, I used to go there all the time. My dad and my nephew raced there. And I was like, I'll be. Is that? And he said, yep, I'm related to Rodney Combs. I was like, that is so cool. So, he even mentioned how guys like Alan Kowicki and Mark Martin and Rusty Wallace would race there. And I thought, hey, that's pretty cool. It's cool looking back on that stuff. But I want Fontana to be turned into a super speedway when it comes back. I don't want another short track. Like I said, I'd rather have a racetrack there than none. So I'm hoping they can get that short track going here soon. The question is, when is it going to happen? What's the timeline? We don't know that yet, but hopefully we will soon. And I think it'd be good to... if you're going to have short tracks... The other issue I've noticed... Oh, we got another victim. This time it's Jeff Gordon. And Patty again, good lord. That final corner has been a challenge. What was I going to say? Okay. Lost my train of thought. Corbett, you're going to the Chicago race? That's awesome. Let me know how that is. I wish I could go, but, there's this thing called money that I need to watch and stuff of that nature. I'd like to save up to where I can go to more races that include, where I could go to Nashville and all that. But I also have a full-time job, so I don't want to use up all my vacation time at once. So, it's about finding that balance. As Dave Moody once said, Chicago introduced 80,000 new people to NASCAR while North Wilkesboro introduced 8 people. And that's the truth, honestly. Again, it's great North Wilkesboro came back from the nostalgia and, to celebrate the history, right? Because it's never bad to celebrate the history. But, I think you could get the trucks there. ARCA could race there. You could have all sorts of grassroots series race there. That's not going to be a problem. And Jeff Gordon bends it again coming off that final corner. Who else is going to do it? There's another one. 2 of them bite the dust this time. It's the 44 and the 1. That's Benson and Hermie Sattler there. And yeah, like I said, I know I said that, but also I think it's possible to try and do, hey, can we find some sort of balance to where it could best benefit the sport? So, but again, having events like Chicago are very important. And if you could find a way to have, tracks like Wilkesboro work, that'd be great. You know, just obviously I'm no business expert, but that's kind of where I kind of see it all. Let me see here, and that's the other thing too. Yeah, Wilkesboro. Yeah, well, I mean, I know the short tracks haven't been too great, although I thought the spring Bristol race was entertaining. Iowa was pretty entertaining. So I think there's some improvement there for sure. Um, which track with 2 races is likely to lose a race? Um, obviously one of Texas's races went to Austin, which is great. I think it's great to have COTA on the schedule. And with Pocono, Michigan, Dover, New Hampshire, ever since those tracks lost a date, they've been selling out the one race they have now, which is good. That's really good. So yeah, I hate to say it, but a lot of these tracks don't need a second date. So it's worked out. It's worked out for sure. As Tammy Jo Kirk has pulled away, it appears Elton Sawyer's third. We have a couple of DNFs. Hut Strickland and Laura Lane are out. I'll do a quick run through the field. What happened to Kenny Brack? Oh no. I'm going to see what happened to him real quick. I want to... He's been on pit road for a minute. Let's see what... Do a little fast forwarding here and see what happened and see if he got into a wreck or something. Oh, into the tire barriers. Ouch. Yeah, he just lost it. Heavy damage to that number 04 machine. I did see that on Stunod. I love seeing all the creations of it. That's really cool. There we go. But yeah, it's really cool seeing creations like that, and I highly encourage it for sure. I don't know about Racing Infinity with that just yet, but I will tease the next Racing Infinity after this race. Kenny Gregson. Oh my gosh. I wanted to insert that joke, but I wasn't so sure. Yeah, I do love Stunod. I pray that website doesn't go anywhere because I know we've had a handful of those go by the wayside, and it's unfortunate. So hopefully that's our go-to site for many years to come when it comes to NR 2003. Kenny Brack about to get suspended for liking an insensitive meme. Oh no. Well, this was 1997, so you don't have to worry about social media. I would say your likes are public, but that's not the case anymore. Yep, 44 hit the wall again. I was also going to say, it's not like you made a reference to the Hawk Tua meme and got fired. Oh, gosh. I hope I'm not trying to upset anyone making that a joke, because I know that whole thing's gone on with the Hawk Tua meme, but I'm not going to lie. I was working at a TV station. Our meteorologist said sus this morning on the news. and the anchor actually referenced Riz, and I was like, oh no. I was like, oh, here we were all like, oh, here we go. I think something big is going to happen in 1998. I believe so too. I believe so too. Yeah, I do believe that. I think SNL '98. There's gonna be a lot of big things, and yeah. So stay tuned. I think you're gonna like what you see. And again, we haven't even ran the Busch and Cup races yet. We're getting all that set up. So, and then after that, it's sitting down, recording the footage, and getting to work on all that. Oh yeah. Boyer said the no cap, and it was Gateway when Kevin Harvick said Fugazi. And I love how both Mike Joy and Boyer were like, "What?" It's Fugazi. I was like, "Good Lord, Harvick, what are you doing?" Trying to get hip with the younger audience these days. I remember the day. I'm 27, but it's like I remember when back in 2011 when people were saying everything was swag, and now people are like, nobody says that anymore, and stuff like that. Oh man. And now we got. I don't even feel like referencing the Gen Alpha words because I just don't think I can. I mean, I know glazing. Glazing. Is anybody? I'm waiting for them to go to Martinsville and Harvick or somebody goes, "Have any of you guys tried that Martinsville glizzy yet?" Harvick, the guy who drove the millennial cars, trying to stay hip with the youngins. Oh gosh, yeah. So when we get in the, oh god, I'm scared we're gonna get the Gen Alpha car and it's gonna be like Ohio Skibbity. Oh god, I'm losing brain cells just mentioning it. In 2011 it was swag, and in 2012 it was apocalypse. Oh yeah. December 21st, 2012. The day after my 16th birthday, yeah. Can no longer say edge on the broadcast thanks to modern slang. Exactly. Because, even, lately when I've been doing racing Infinity videos or stuff like that, and I would say, he edged him out at the line. I'm like, oh, I can't say that anymore. I'm going to have to redo that. I'm going to have to fix that. Because I know people are going to be like, what? So, Kevin Harvick says, earn what the Sigma? Oh, God. Well, I dropped from 21 to 17 viewers. I wonder if I scared them off. Sorry. I'm only being funny, okay? I'm not going to start going that route with that kind of terminology. Because, some of it, I sit there, I'm like, what? You could say I'm studying in memeology. The 36 bins it. It's the same cars I've been binning it off the final turn there. Modern slang is going to ruin the planet. Oh, Dale Jarrett and Tim Feud will eat it. Oh, wow, you saved a cat from a tree? As long as that cat's doing okay. It's the 90s. You could still say edge in SNL. Probably. On this day, well, you mentioned Edge. Now I gotta mention the wrestler. On this day, I see clearly everything's. Actually, no. If I sing that, I might get a copyright strike or whatever. I don't want to do that. Oh wait, Adam Copeland. He's in AEW now. I know I discussed drivers getting engaged and doing different stuff. 21 might be a new streaming record. Yeah, it might be. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm glad y'all are enjoying these races and chatting and all that. Oh, the cat, that's good. The cat's fine. That's good. That's good. As long as the kitty is safe. Let me make sure the kitty is safe. My roommates have a cat. His name is Nimbus. And I buy him these little plastic springs, and I toss one, and he darts across the room and goes after him. It's so funny. Tammy Jo Kirk's still leading. Nearing the halfway point. Again, I turned cautions off because I figured I didn't want the races to be like half cautions, so. You have to be good at singing to get caught. Yeah. That's true. You never know anymore in these days, but you never know. To be fair, I don't think I was even trying that much. Because, like, you know, I have the sound of the cars going over the headphones, and so it's, yeah. Rhea Ripley getting married the other day destroyed the dreams of many people, as if many of us had a chance anyways. Exactly. There was a live show she did not too long ago, before she got hurt, where she did the Rikishi stink face. And I know for a fact some people were probably like, it should have been me. Sorry, I had to. I want to, speaking of wrestling, in a way, you know, talking about like crossovers and collabs and different kinds of engagement, this was interesting. So, on Friday Night SmackDown last night, they were at Madison Square Garden. They had Jalen Brunson of the Knicks there. Now, I admit, I am a Pacers fan. They've been the closest team, but also I've just always had a soft spot for them. So I was happy to see them make the run in the playoffs that they did, only to get swept by the Celtics. But Logan Paul, and I'm not the biggest fan of him, he had a match. He had a triple threat match. He brought out Tyrese Halliburton of the Pacers. I'm like, why you gotta do this to my Pacers? And, of course, and what's funny is Halliburton and Brunson had a couple stare downs. They never fought, but they had a couple of close occasions where they did, especially after the match. Because, like, Halliburton was helping Logan Paul trying to win with the brass knuckles and everything else. And at one point, the crowd started chanting, F the Pacers, which I'm like, here's a reminder. We beat you guys in 94. We beat you guys 30 years later. If there was Indiana Pacer fans in there, they should have started chanting, Reggie, Reggie. But, yeah, it was nuts. I've never seen anything like that. But I wanted to make a joke. I'm like, okay, this is how Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch settle their differences. Not Kyle Busch. Kyle Larson, excuse me. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to bring that up, which... it's just one of the many ways to do cool crossovers and stuff like that. It's kind of like when Kyle Busch he won the 24/7 title for a night, you know, stuff like that. But of course, there's plenty of other ideas, not just WWE. We could have a boomer car. OMG, I know what one-off Dale Sr. could do. A boomer car? Oh, gosh. Do a Gen X car at some point. Oh, wait a minute. Harvick did a Gen X car. Yes, they did. Kyle Busch and Stenhouse settled it that way. They went at it. Make an AI of yourself getting... Ouch. Some of the AI stuff's fascinating, especially when they make the funny videos with the presidents. And the AI voices like the presidents play GTA 5 or something like that. Some of it's also kind of scary. I mean... Toys R Us literally tried doing a commercial using full-on AI. And you can tell some of the stuff in there that's like, yeah, this is AI generated. But it's scary that we're kind of now going down that path. I mean, a year ago, we weren't capable of doing that. So it's just like, ooh. Yeah, Kyle Busch, I can't figure out why he's been struggling. At least your team wasn't ruined by nepotism and drafting a player's son who did dog water in a single college season. Yeah, I know what you're referring to. But apparently, because it's the Lakers, it's totally fine. But, yeah. What was the signs that I saw when the Pacers beat the Knicks? It was... the Hicks beat the Knicks or something like that. I couldn't help but get a chuckle out of that. Yeah, Tammy Jo, she's been crushing it. She's got a 4-second lead on Dale Earnhardt Jr. Elton Sawyer's been running well, running there in third place. Elliott Sadler and Patty Moyes round out your top 5. Gen Z and Gen Alpha car would basically be the same thing. I would say wait a few years, see what happens. Maybe because I feel like we're gonna get, because I'm waiting for it. People are gonna be like, I missed the Cup Series in 2020, and be like, oh come on. But while we were talking about wrestling, who is winning Money in the Bank this year? So the women's side, I think it's gonna be Tiffy time. I think Tiffany Stratton's gonna win it. Toodles, And the men's side, as much as I want to see LA Knight, I want to see him beat Logan Paul. I think Logan Paul's going to screw him. I think I would love to see AJ Lee show up to screw over McIntyre. I think Jey Uso's going to win. I'd like to see him do it, just so, because he's had these title opportunities, and it would be nice for him to have that, but we'll see what happens there. How do you think Chase will do in the 19 for Gibbs? I think he's going to do fine. I think Briscoe's got a lot of talent. 2022, he had a solid year. I think he made it all the way to the round of 8, so he's got what it takes, and I think he's going to be in a good car. So, I think Briscoe's going to do all right, in my opinion. Andy Petrie just randomly retired, so RCR may be a sinking ship. Yeah, I don't know what to think of that. Because I thought, because the question I asked when Kyle Busch signed with them was, is this going to be a step up for RCR, or is this going to be a step down for Kyle Busch? And at first it looked like, oh, this is a major step up for RCR then. But now it's like, something's not clicking. And, I can't help but ask, what's going on at RCR? The Xfinity team's been fine, but that's not translating into the Cup Series. So, I don't really know what's going on there. So, you hope that they can, figure it out and get their stuff together, but it's just, boy, it's rough for them right now. A couple years later, it'll be different for sure. Yes, it will. I'm waiting for what the next terminologies people are going to be using is. Is pulling a Dale Earnhardt 97. Yeah, we'll see if Earnhardt can turn it around in 98. We'll have to see what happens there. The big question for the Cup Series will be, can anybody stop Rusty Wallace? Because he has been dominant. Which, of course, we'll see if he wins this Cup race at Chicago here later on, for sure. So we're past halfway, and Tammy Jo Kirk's lead continues to grow. The real deal Patty Moyes. Yes, she is. Maybe it's time for Kyle Busch to call it quits. He's nearing 40 now. He doesn't have much time left. Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, you'd think he could go another 5 years if he really wanted to. He's been racing since 2000 in the Cup Series since 2005. I don't know. Does he go somewhere else? Does he, yeah, who knows? Average road course NR03 race. Oh well, what can you do? I will say this. I thought the Chicago street race, on a racing product standpoint, was actually pretty good last year. Also, I mean, come on. We got Shane Van Gisbergen winning. How cool was that? Oh, John Hunter. Not John Hunter. John Nemechek is 5th. RCR was number 2 at Chevy for a while, then Trackhouse kicked. Yeah, Trackhouse, man, that's been, in my opinion, I think Trackhouse has been the fastest growing team in NASCAR. So, RCR is number 3 in my opinion, so the 8 instead of being the 5th best Chevy team seems like 7th best. Closer to 9 because Spire's been cooking. Yeah, I keep saying it, man. Carson Hocevar, he's got speed. He's got talent. Corey LaJoie's kind of been up and down, and Zane Smith's really been struggling. I think McDowell's going to help bring that team to newer heights. Kind of like what he did with Front Row. I think he'll apply that to Spire next year. And we'll see what else happens. If Trackhouse gets one of those Stuart Haas charters, then you got to ask who drives that third car. Is it SVG? Is it Zane Smith? Or somebody else we're not thinking of? Yes, J.D. McDuffie did retire in 1991. Yep. Super Rusty Wallace. Movie-themed cars. That'd be pretty neat. Oh, the Pirates? Yeah, I mean, the Reds are kind of the same way. But I'm just kind of waiting for them to click, And I'll be honest with you, I'm getting a little frustrated with David Bell because every time I see something, he's always getting ejected. And I'm like, what are you doing? As a Trackhouse Call Expire fan, 2022 onwards has made me a happy man. Yeah, I mean, by the way, some of NASCAR's recent viral moments, a lot of them have come from Trackhouse. Chastain's wall ride, SVG Chicago win, and then Suarez's win in Atlanta, the 3-wide photo finish. So that team was a spot away from winning the championship in 2022. I just want to bring that up. I gotta say, I really love what Trackhouse has been doing. It's not only that they're treating Nashville as their home, but also they're just doing things different. And that's what I was talking about with teams doing these different doing more engagement, doing these different things, getting companies involved and doing these kind of different things. I just think Trackhouse and Justin Marks and Pitbull, they're doing a great job with that. I think they have all the faith in Suarez. Chastain's been good. SVG keeps continuing to improve. And yeah, he finished 15th today, but I want to point out that he's like 11th, 12th in points without those wins, and he's kept the car in check. He's brought the car home clean, and he's done a really good job, and I think he's only going to get better. And then you got Connor Zilic, which that young man might be the next big thing, and Trackhouse has him. So that's exciting. That's exciting. And, of course, we'll see if he goes to JRM next year and see what he does there. I'm assuming, that's him getting loaned over there to continue to develop. And I mean, if he does really well in Xfinity, he might be in Cup by 2026, which is crazy because he's 17 right now. He's like 17, 18 years old, and he's already like winning in all these different series. He's winning in everything. Like, NASCAR needs this guy, man. This guy's good. So, can't help but be excited. As a Dodgers fan, I'm happy 99% of the time in the regular season. Then in the playoffs, I'd rather drive into a tree. Hey, that's Roast Chan. That's me as a Reds fan whenever they make the playoffs. I'm happy for a few days, and then I realize, all right, the Reds are going to lay an egg again. Yay! Because, 2020, we made the playoffs, and what happens? The Braves absolutely murder us. I'm like, yep, typical. I hope don't mind making up. Yeah, I think SNL nicknames are fun. It adds to the lore. It adds to the storyline. I think that's cool. It's cool that people are coming up with that. I just remember Ross's wall ride making it to CBS Mornings. And I'm like, see? Stuff like, and I'm not going to lie, it's one of those things that we'll never see again. but it was so cool when it happened. Because I remember I was like, oh, congrats, Bell. Where did Chastain come from? Wasn't he like in this spot? And then they showed the replay. I went, what? He did that? How did he do that? I was stunned. My jaw dropped. I went, oh my God. Ross Chastain made the championship 4 because he said, I'm sending it. That is amazing. God bless that man. I'm sorry. I can't really hate the guy, especially that he's worked his butt off to get to where he is now. So I hope he can get back there and contend for a championship because, you know, Ross has definitely shown he's had what it takes. And hopefully he can pick up that W tomorrow. Fingers crossed. Take a look at what he did! Yeah, I love saying that too. Thank you, Rick Allen. Excuse me. Yeah, everybody at Trackhouse seems to have a celebration. You got Ross with the watermelon, the Suarez with the pinata, and now you have SVG with the rugby ball. Which, I saw him do that in Portland. I'm like, oh my God, that is amazing. God bless that man. I really love what Trackhouse is doing. Whenever Pitbull's name is mentioned, I always think about the time 4chan made an online poll to have him exiled to some random Walmart in Alaska. I don't remember that one. Although I will say Pitbull is performing in Cincinnati in a couple of months. If the tickets are still there, I definitely would love to go. And I definitely will wear a Trackhouse shirt. I got my new SVG shirt. I may have to wear that. Because I think even after Suarez won, Pitbull actually got him on stage for after one of his concerts. Which, come on, that's cool! That is so cool. Jeff Burton. In the last Racing Infinity, why did Richard Petty take the 46, not Bobby Labonte? That's just kind of something we settled with since Labonte was driving the 43 full time and, you know, just doing something a little different. Yes, he did do it true. I'm not lifting till I see God of the checkered flag. And again, Trackhouse has been doing all these viral moments. So, no, that was cool. And again, you know, the Chicago street race last year, I'm sitting there, those closing laps, I'm like, is Shane Van Gisbergen going to win this race? He's never driven a NASCAR race before, and he's actually going to do this? He passes Justin Haley, I went, oh my God, he's actually going to win this. That point, I'm like, dude, go get him, Shane, go get him. And SVG won that day, and what's even cool is that no matter what happens, he's got a smile on his face. He's legitimately enjoying this. He's having fun. And that's what I like. It's like, he's just like, you know, I had a rough day, but it's fun driving these cars. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but how can you hate SVG? Trackhouse is a fun team to watch, and I think they're going to be worth checking out for the next several years for sure. I think that team's only going to continue to get better. I'm not going to lie, man. I thought when I was at Daytona back in February, I thought Ross had it. I thought Ross was going to, it's like, he's got an opening. No! He wrecked. Dang it. When Ernie Irvan won Michigan in 96, that's irony. Oh, because he had those two notable wrecks in his career. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. SVG is the new Marcos Ambrose. Oh, man, I remember back on my wall behind me in my bedroom, I got a big poster, and it's 2006 Ford drivers. They have their cars on it. They got the bottom part, the truck series, they got Ambrose's truck on there. I remember going to the Kentucky truck race that year, and he was on the pole, you know, and I was like, oh, wow, this dude's from, you know, the other side of the world. He's coming over to do NASCAR. That's really cool. So it's kind of cool looking back on that and now seeing what Shane Van Gisbergen is doing. And honestly, I think I think SVG might be one-upping Marcos Ambrose. So, I was an SVG fan before he went to NASCAR, so again, as a Trackhouse fan, seeing that, OMG, I'm happy for the next 10 lifetimes. Yeah. Again, I think it's great seeing all these international drivers coming over and trying NASCAR. So, it was cool to see Cam Waters and Will Brown do the race at Sonoma, and hopefully they'll do some more races coming up. And that's why when I did the Indy Road Course race last year, that was cool. We had so many different drivers from different places. Like, you had SVG, you had Kostecki, you had Kobayashi, Rockefeller, and all these different guys. So I just thought that's pretty neat. If SVG won Atlanta on field, the sport would have burned down. Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see SVG get an oval win, just to see how people would react. SVG once won like 20 plus races in a 38 race season in Supercars to win Title 3. I compared him as Supercars Jeff Gordon. Wow, yeah, that's really impressive. I haven't watched enough Supercars to know. I first heard of SVG, if any of you remember my World Grand Prix video from last year, I had him in that. And then next thing I know, he's running the Cup race at Chicago, which is even more ironic, so. Allmendinger moment. Yeah, I know he was pretty frustrated towards the end of the race today. Don't tell me you spoiled SNL 07 with that. I don't think it was a spoiler. It was just one of those, putting something together because that's what got voted for. So, I can't tell you what SNL 07 is going to look like because still a decade away from that, but we'll get there when we get there. Tammy Jo Kirk just pulling away. We're going to pick up the win unless we have late pit stops. I put 1X. I hope that doesn't happen. That would suck if Tammy Jo Kirk went down pit road with 2 to go. I'd be like, no! But, you never know. So, you never know. You never know. Yeah, stay tuned. Before I do the Cup race, I'll show you guys the teaser for the next Racing Infinity. And, I promise you it's going to be a good one. It's going to be real good. So, I think you guys are going to like it. Now, speaking of street course races, where would you guys want to see NASCAR race in terms of street circuit race? I make Kelly's paint schemes. I decide if it's a spoiler or not. Exactly, yeah. But yeah, where would you guys like to see NASCAR do a street race at? Pittsburgh. Yeah, I know somebody actually made a Pittsburgh street course in NR 2003, and I think the mayor of Pittsburgh even said a couple years ago that he'd be interested in doing something like that, so Pittsburgh would be pretty neat. That makes me curious. How far is Pittsburgh from here? Only 4.5 hours. That'd be tempting. 2 Pittsburghs. I think they could get away with doing Pittsburgh. That'd be kind of cool. I'll be sure to show up in something Bengals or Reds related. I mean, what? I think New York would be big. If NASCAR could land New York, that would be huge, and I'd love to see it. I think that would be a big deal for the sport if they could land a race in the Big Apple. Cincinnati I-71 is treated like a racetrack, so it fits, but in all reality, I think a racetrack or a track around the stadiums would be cool. Well, as somebody who actually lives in Cincinnati, I actually did I try to do some sort of, I did trace out a layout of what I think a street race would look like in Cincinnati. And yeah, I basically said downtown, around the banks and all that would be really cool. And there may be some other ideas too, but yeah. Driving Cincinnati can be quite interesting sometimes, but a downtown race would be pretty cool. A Three Rivers layout would be cool to see. Oh, certainly, yeah. That would be cool to see. So we're on the final lap. Tammy Jo Kirk is pulling away, and she is on her way to winning this one here in Chicago. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is second, almost 7 seconds back, with Elton Sawyer third. Fourth is Elliott Sattler. John Nemechek is fifth. And at this point, she can cruise to this win with ease. She dominated since the start. And that's not the final turn. We're almost there, though. Excuse me. Over the bridge, off the final corner, checkered flag waves, and Tammy Jo Kirk will win at Chicago. Let's make our own Vegas street race with blackjack and hookers. If somebody makes the Vegas street circuit in NR 2003, I might have to do something with that. Make a race on the other side of the river in Newport would be cool. I like Newport, Just depends what works. Rose Bowl course gonna go hard. Yes. I think Seattle would work, for sure. I know the Gran Turismo games had the Seattle circuit. And it's funny because in the older games, I know there's a one point where you drive past the Kingdome, the old stadium for the Mariners and Seahawks. TJK, yep. Tammy Jo Kirk picking up the victory there. Yeah. I can't type. Anyway, there's your final results there, and we'll get that cup race going here in just a bit. The Cleveland Grand Prix, that'd be kind of neat. Columbus actually had a street circuit too. It was mainly IMSA that ran there back in the 80s. I wish somebody would have made that in NR 2003. That'd be pretty cool. Or make like a modern day version of it. So yeah, there's your final results. Your top 10. Tammy Jo Kirk, your winner. Dale Earnhardt Jr. second. Elton Sawyer third. Elliott Sattler fourth. Patty Moises fifth. Sixth is Mark Martin. Seventh is Rodney Combs. Eighth, John Nemechek. Ninth, Todd Bodine. And Dale Shaw rounding out the top 10. 3 cars out of the race: Kenny Brack, Hut Strickland, and Laura Lane. All out of the race there. NASCAR's Las Vegas circuit will coincidentally circle and block off Formula One's US HQ. Yes. Yes. Just to stick it to him. Dale and Tim, a.k.a. the Men in Black, promoting the movie Men in Black. That'd be something. Alright, so... I did promise I was going to give you guys a little teaser on the next Racing Infinity. Give me a second here. That's not what I wanted. There we go. Cannot go any faster. Yeah, basketball. The Dalton Princess, Tammy Jo Kirk. Oh, that's an interesting one. Excuse me. Okay, yeah, she's from Dalton, Georgia. That makes sense. So yeah, I meant to address that the complete SNL car set from '81 to. So yeah, I will be working on that. I apologize that I've not had it out yet. That's on me. I've just been doing things, got carried away, and forgot. But I will be working on that, and I will let you guys know as soon as possible what I do and how I will release it and when it comes out. I will be working on that. I like to work on that this weekend for sure, and just get all those cars together for y'all. So I do apologize. I meant to get that out sooner, but I will get all those cars out as soon as I can. So here is a teaser for the next Racing Infinity. I will say that it is it kind of turned into a 2-in-1 kind of situation here. So I don't think I'll give too much away here, but I'll let you guys think about what this is and what's going on here. As you can tell, this takes place during the COT era. And yeah, that's what we got in store for the next Racing Infinity. So, you guys have any idea what it could be? Take your time, man. I'd rather have the complete car set when it's complete than have you rush it. Thank you. And again, I apologize. I should have gotten that out sooner, and I haven't. But I will be. I will work on that and try and get all those cars together. Because I got them all backed up, so I gotta kind of go through everything and figure out who made what, and I'd like to put in a README of all the cars and who painted them and stuff of that nature. So yeah, I'll leave that up there for a little bit longer as I get the cup race prepared. Let me see here. Checking a couple of things. Let's see. And let me know what you guys, what your all picks are for tomorrow's cup race at Nashville. Okay. And I'll do the same thing here where I'll keep the yellow flags off because again, I don't want half the race to be all cautions, but yeah. Yep, I'm going to be working on that Racing Infinity video this weekend. And yeah, we'll go from there. Ross the Boss wins tomorrow. I would love that. I'd love to see Ross get another Nashville victory. So with all that being said, yep, stay tuned for that. Racing Infinity Volume 26 coming soon. And with all that being said, let's jump now into the Cup race. And let's see if Rusty Wallace is going to dominate this race and win again.
Drivers, to your cars.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Alan Kowicki is really good on the road courses suddenly. So yeah, Alan Kowicki and Kyle Petty will be on the front row for this race. Followed by Nemechek, Moroso, Martin, Rudd, Jeff Gordon, Rusty Wallace, Tammy Jo Kirk, and Bubba Nissen.
Drivers, to your cars.
But yeah, I'd like to see Ross win tomorrow. And yeah, I'd love to do a street horse race. We just gotta see what works best for the time and all that. Alright, so we got Kowicki on pole. Kyle Petty starting second. Excuse me. Yeah. Nemechek third, Moroso fourth. How will Moroso's crew blow it today? Who knows? Mark Martin, Ricky Rudd, Jeff Gordon, Rusty Wallace, Tammy Jo Kirk, who just won the Busch race, and Bubba Nissen, Patty Moyes, Ernie Irvin, Shauna Robinson, Sterling Marlin, Dale Earnhardt, Kenny Brack. You got Kenny Wallace, Terry Schoonover, Jeff Burton, Ricky Craven, Lake Speed, Terry Labonte, Darrell Waltrip, Bobby Hamilton, Bill Elliott, and Clifford Allison. I know I'm kind of doing this a little discombobulated. Davey Allison and Jeff Green, Kelly Earnhardt and Eddie Bierschwell, Michael Waltrip and Chad Little, Robert Presley and Ward Burton, Tim Richmond, Wally Dallenbach, Steve Grissom, Michael Waltrip, Morgan Shepherd, Ken Schrader, and Dale Jarrett. They will round out your field of 41 cars as the 97 Sunday Night Lights Winston Cup Series take on the streets of Chicago. Part of me hopes that CM Punk shows up to the race in Chicago in real life. Anyway, so yeah, how will Rob Moroso's crew blow it today? That is a very, very, very good question. Getting ready to do the command here in just a moment. Oh yeah, Bobby Labonte. Did I say Michael Waltrip in the 21? Sorry about that. That's bad of me. That's on me. Sorry about that. Yeah, Bobby Labonte for 97 is in that car. Whoops.
Drivers, start your engines!
Oh yeah, as many people pointed out today, the Pac-12 had their website updated to reflect their current membership. Now it only has the Oregon State and Washington State logos on it. Whoa, hello. Looked a little discombobulated there. Here we go. Green flag is in the air, and the Cup Series is underway from Chicago. That was a little funky there coming to the green flag, and Kyle Petty is trying to jump ahead of Kowicki, and he's going to do so. Now Joe Nemechek wants second place from Kowicki. Yeah, Nemechek's had some good moments, winning a Daytona 500, and can't help but wonder if maybe his younger brother might even be better. I mean, John Nemechek coming off winning the 97 Busch Championship without winning a race, without getting his first career win for that matter. The fall of the Pac-12, yeah. Will there be an SNL version of NASCAR's 50 Greatest Drivers list? I remember getting that book when I first got into NASCAR 20 years ago. That would be cool. That'd be kind of cool. Of course, I wouldn't, a lot of it I wouldn't touch because it's some of the early pioneers, right? So, but yeah, that'd be kind of neat if, we did some graphics for it. Did I hear a car crash? It's just me. Maybe I'm hearing things. How did Dale get some damage? Lake Speed smacked the wall, too. Oh, no. Oh, Bobby Hamilton just got packed by Chad Little. We got some calamity going on here. We got shenanigans. See a lot of banged up rear ends here. Tim Richmond, Bobby Hamilton going down pit road. We must have had a really insane first lap to 29. And Morgan Shepherd goes spinning, too. Oh, my goodness. Goodness gracious almighty, what is happening? Let me go back to Richmond. How did he get damage? Let's see. Going back. Oh, we had a bit of a pile up here at the start of the race. Well, that's never good to go 3 wide like that. Oh, wow, yeah. We had a huge stack up. We had the big one take place. Kind of. Oh, goodness. Wow. So that's what led to all that craziness. A lot of banged up rear ends. Man, I told myself I wouldn't say the edging thing, and now I say that. Shame on me. Shame, shame, shame. My serious pick for a new street course is Minneapolis. Whole new market, and they don't have a big summer event that I know of. Get Anthony Edwards and Raja involved together. Yeah, I think Minneapolis would actually be really, really cool. I think Minneapolis would work pretty well. Hello. Oh, Dale. Dale. What happened to you? So yeah, that's happened. Definitely a lot more chaos than the Bush race. We had some cars kind of spin and hit the wall and keep going. This one's kind of like, ah! So. Yeah, Dale with a nose job. But yeah, Minneapolis would be pretty cool. Let me get that up there for you guys. There we go. I think Sabco winning a race like this could be pretty big. I tell you what, in the SNL timeline, man, the rise of Sabco racing needs to be studied. Yeah, I mentioned the Pac-12. I'm really looking forward to the new college football video game. I already have it pre-ordered, so can't wait to start playing that one for sure. Man, I just love how detailed this game looks. Yeah, Sabco's really become a powerhouse. It's been fun to watch, and it all started with Kyle Petty winning that championship in '92. Then the meteoric rises of Patty Moyes and Shauna Robinson, and the team's looking pretty good. Are you aware of the account called NASCAR? I don't think so. That's an interesting name for sure. Well, Sabco technically did win OTL's Chicago Cup race. Sabco to get it. That's a good point. In a way, yeah. Excuse me. I just realized I made both races the same length. They're both 30 laps. Oh well, that's okay. Not too worried about that. Definitely looking forward to the Chicago races next week, though. They're going to be fun. I've heard of NASHawk. Yeah, I've heard of that, but I've never heard of NASCOM before, which, again, that's a interesting name. So it looks like things have kind of settled down since the beginning. There's Mark Martin there in 5th. Ricky Rudd 6th. There's Rusty Wallace. He's 7 seconds back, so no need to panic just yet. Jeff Gordon is 8th. Nissen 9th, and then Ernie Irvan rounds out the top 10. Tammy Jo Kirk back there in 11th place. Excuse me. There's Kenny Brack. He's up there. He's doing pretty good. Schoonover, Robinson, Kenny Wallace, Jeff Burton, Ricky Craven. And going through the rest of the field. Sorry for the lag there. I'm doing this on my laptop. Kelly Earnhardt in 23rd. I have heard of NASCOM and their European counterpart. Oh no. Oh goodness. Humor. Was it the VeggieTales that said that in the future humor will be randomly generated? I don't think they were kidding. Oh wait, so okay, I've just been shown the Instagram page for NASCOM. Okay, so this is an actual page. Okay, this ought to be good. Oop, I think I heard a wall scrape. Larry the Cucumber was right, yeah. Okay, I'm not playing it over the mic, but I'm listening to one of their newest videos for the race today. Oh my god. Oh my god. Am I gonna be able to watch these races again? I'm gonna be able to watch these races the same again now. It's just what he does for every single race. This is great. Well, I think I know what I'm doing after the stream. I have to watch these after the stream. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Autotainment. Yep. Oh, it's Mark Martin who scraped the wall there. I see some damage to the left side of his car. Want to know why the chicken crossed the road? Weed eater. But what about the wheel? I'm just kidding. Yes, Terry Schoonover, yeah, he would be about 46 at this point. Have you ever thought of making a Blockbuster Video sponsored car? Well, I mean, excuse me. If there's if there's an idea for it for sure, and if something makes sense, then we could certainly roll with that. I remember going to those when I was a kid. One third of the race through. Kawicki's still hanging tough there with Kyle Petty. I wonder if he may try and catch him and challenge him for the lead here at some point. Yeah, I mean, painting cars are pretty fun. I think I've been doing them dating back to like 2013, but they're fun. And let's see. It takes time to kind of just understand how the templates work, and be sure to use layers. Layers are important. So therefore, like I'll do a separate layer for the design, then one for the numbers, and one for the sponsors and whatever else. And therefore, I can kind of go back and see if I need to make any changes and go, okay, I can change this and this, without having to mess up the entire, paint scheme. Because if you do it on one layer, all on one layer, then it can kind of be a deal breaker. And obviously, you don't need to use Photoshop. GIMP is just as good, and it's free, so GIMP's a good program to use. Why does 2013 feel like it was 50 years ago, despite it being 11 years ago? Yeah, I mean, it both doesn't feel like that long ago, and it does feel like that long ago. I think the pandemic may have played a factor into why it feels that way, but maybe it's just me. Felt like a different world back then, even, which it's kind of weird to say that, but yeah, Kawicki's still hanging on there with Kyle Petty. He actually gained a bit on that last lap. Well, Jimmy Johnson was pretty good back then. um, it's incredible what he was able to do. I mean, to win 5 straight championships in NASCAR to me is insane. But he did it, and he did it with different cars and different playoff formats, and it's just like, wow. I don't think we're ever going to see that again, possibly. So, or at least for a long time to come. And I just realized it's been just as long since Dodge left as long as their most recent run in the sport. That's nuts. I didn't think about that. That is, wow. Jeez. What a shame with Dodge too, man. They didn't last that long. Kawicki is still gaining on Kyle Petty. A little bit, but still gaining nonetheless. And I will say for SNL 98, we made some pretty nice paint schemes for sure. So, I think you're gonna love what you see. The Underbird versus KP. Just about the halfway point. And Kawicki's still slowly gaining. How about that? It's been amazing, like, how Alan Kawicki has suddenly gotten really good on the road courses lately in this timeline. It's been impressive to watch. I'm going to have to gather, like, who has the most road course wins right in this timeline, or at least since I started this whole thing. That'd be kind of cool to look back on and, like, see who has the most. I got a huge spreadsheet of all the different winners. So, favorite car you painted for Racing Infinity? Oh man. Oh, that's a good question. I don't really know. Some good ones I've painted. I can't really pick a favorite. There is one I did paint for this next one that I really liked, that I thought came out pretty good, so. Well, kind of ironic once you see it, but still I like how it came out. In my opinion, you and Jet are some of the best painters in NR 2003 right now. Well, thank you. That means a lot. Jet does an incredible job with painting his cars. I mean, he's done an amazing job with. So I think he's better than me even. He's done a fantastic job, and he's been a huge help with everything. And yeah, he's just absolutely a terrific painter for sure. You already teased the Snyders of Hanover car. I don't think anything else could top that car. Yeah, just wait till you see the whole thing. And obviously I'm not giving anything away. You saw, a teaser of a paint scheme. But yeah, once you see the whole thing of every car, I think you're gonna be like, oh, I don't know which car to pick. So yeah, there's a lot of nice paint schemes we're making for 98. And we're just about halfway through now. Yep. Let's see. Still waiting for it. There's something out there already. Yeah, and I will say, Jet did make that car. So. And it's a beauty. I'll say that as much. It is a beauty. Let's see. Ron Fellows and Boris Said are doing IMSA Stock GT currently, as of 1997. Would, be interesting to see if those other two names may come in at some point. Who knows? Anything is certainly possible. Been a really fun battle for the lead here. At least Kawicki has made things pretty interesting there with Kyle Petty. And Joe Nemechek's not that far back either. He's sitting there in third. Coming to complete lap 16 now on lap number 17 as Kyle Petty crosses the line. I've done my own NR 2003 series called A Flicker of Hope. I'm up to the 2002 season. Oh, that's pretty neat. Yeah, I love seeing people come up with their own series and stuff like that. I highly encourage it. Petty's going to hit the wall in the last corner. J.R. Hildebrand style. Oh, no. I swear if that actually happens... Oh, man. That would not be incredible. Take a look at what he did. Sorry. Yeah, I remember that day. Because me and my dad were watching that. And we were sitting there like, oh, this is really cool. This rookie's going to pull it off. And next thing I knew, it was like, I admit, it felt like time stopped for a moment when he hit the wall. And I was just sitting there like, oh my God, did that just happen? You know, it was just absolutely wild. I've been working on a family career mode starting in 67 and going to go to like 2035 right now. I'm in 73. Oh, wow. Wow, that's huge right there. Starting in 67 and wow, that's pretty impressive. ...2011 was nuts. Two juniors or JRs lost a crown jewel in the final quarter in the final lap. Yeah, that was a rough night. That was a rough night at the time. That season in general was pretty fun. And of course, me living here, I was excited about the first cup race at Kentucky, and then the traffic issues happened, and yeah. I got lucky, man. I literally got to my seats when they did the command. I got really lucky that night. Yeah, both National Guard cars on Memorial Day weekend too. Maybe that's when everything started going downhill. I'm just kidding. Yeah, the Stewart Edwards Championship battle. Oh man, that was a really good championship battle. The chase that year was pretty good. Stewart just out of nowhere winning 5 races in the last 10 and putting himself in position to win it all and getting his 3rd championship. That was, like I said, 2011 that was a crazy season when you think about it. Take a drink there. That's better. Especially when you go on talking for almost 2 hours, you know. You need to take a sip every now and then. I'm just imagining how good the Splash Miller car Rusty drives will look on a Taurus. Certainly. Just think about it when it gets on the Taurus from like 2000 to 2005, I think it was. Just imagine when it's on one of those. Oh, man. But then again, so much can happen, right? You never know what could happen. So we're nearing about 10 laps to go. Oh, I'm sure, yeah. 2011, yeah, for you as a Tony Stewart fan. Yeah, I mean, like I said, that was just wild, looking back on all that. We had 5 first-time winners that year. We had Trevor Bayne winning the 500 in his 2nd Cup start at the age of 20. Happy birthday, Trevor Bayne, 20 years old. I'll never forget it. Then you had, let's see, Reagan Smith won Darlington, and this time he'll get to keep it. You had Menard winning the Brickyard 400. You had David Reagan winning the Summer Daytona race. And then you had Marcus Ambrose at Watkins Glen. Man, that's wild. That was wild. I love the old 90s Rusty car. I like the 98 Miller car, but the 2000s Blue Deuce is my favorite. I loved last year at Gateway, Rusty actually took out his old black Miller car, the black and gold one, and he actually drove it out during the opening pace laps of the race. So that was he got to pace the field with that. That was pretty cool to see that. And of course, he's a St. Louisan, so it was just neat to see him do that. So I'm older than Bayne was when he won the 500. It's crazy looking back on all that. I mean, if that's the only win you're gonna get in your entire Cup career, I mean, for it to be the 500, that's pretty good. I mean, you carry that with you the rest of your life. You know, you're like, yeah, I'm a Daytona 500 winner. And obviously, I know the rest of his career didn't pan out, but he still got that one, you know? So that's pretty cool. Reagan Smith should have won the 2008 Amp Energy 500. Yeah, I remember that. The Pirate Prince Kyle Petty. Well, that's an interesting one. Alright, we got about 9 laps to go. Kyle Petty is approaching the lapped car of Morgan Shepherd. Let's see if things get interesting here. Kowicki's still there. Nemechek's lost a little bit of ground, but Kowicki is still there. Let's see. Yeah, it would have been cool if Reagan Smith ended up doing that, because that technically would have been DEI's last win, I think, if Reagan Smith was given the win there. I miss Red Bull Racing. Yeah, it's a shame they didn't last in NASCAR. It would have been cool to see them continue going. He looked like a pirate when he was younger. That's fair. When I was down in Daytona back in February, the Streamline Inn Hotel, where NASCAR was formed, had a huge thing, and a lot of retired drivers and a lot of legends were there, including Kyle Petty. I actually got a picture with him, got his autograph. I met all sorts of cool. I saw Donnie Allison was there, Jody Ridley was there, Jeff Bodine was there, Norm Benning. It was really cool. Kyle Spotter is begging Morgan to pull over. Probably. You know how lap traffic can be in NR 2003 sometimes, you know? So, Shepard may make things a little interesting here and see if Kawicki may use this to his advantage. I mean, he's there. It was their F1 side because whoever was their engine supplier was hated the fact that they used Toyota in a sport they weren't even in. Yeah, I'm trying to remember who it was at the time, but I think you're right on that. I'm looking forward to seeing how that Alan Kawicki Hooter scheme would look on a Ford Taurus. Absolutely. Yeah, it was just cool meeting some of those guys. Just, especially like meeting a guy like Jeff Bodine was pretty neat. Infinity Nissan. Oh, that's right. It was Infinity. That's right. Okay. Thank you, race fan. I was trying to think, was it Infinity? But I was trying to. It's one of those things where, like, I think it is, but I'm not 100% sure on. But yeah, and because of Morgan Shepherd, now some of the other leaders are beginning to catch him. So yeah, Morgan Shepherd is making his car about 4 lanes wide here. I'm sure Kyle Petty's not the biggest fan of that. Oh yeah, the crash he had in the truck race at Daytona. Yeah, I mean, it's just, that is absolutely insane. I remember one of my coworkers was bringing that up. Like, I was like, how did he survive? And like, trust me, I think a lot of people still ask that to this day. But thankfully, he did survive. And you know, it's one of those things where you live to tell the tale, of course. But yeah, yeah, Kawicki's. Okay, Kyle Petty to the inside of Shepard. If he can get him here, no, he cannot. He tried to get to the inside, he did not. Oh man, I wonder if that could benefit Alan Kawicki some. He is almost to the back of that 42 mellow yellow Pontiac. It would have been interesting to see how Red Bull Racing would have done if they still had sticked around. That is one of the recent Racing Infinities that we did. Was what if Red Bull Racing was still around? So definitely check that one out if any of you haven't already. And we're about 6 laps to go. The fictional 92 champ versus the IRL 92 champ. That's a good point. Oh yeah, the 92 Bush champ too. That's a good point. Nemechek back there. Winner keeps their trophy. The field closing leaves the door for Rusty to go from 7th to 1st. Oh no. Well, Rusty's still 11 seconds back, so I don't know. Yeah, I hope John Force is doing alright too. That was scary. 5 laps remain for Kyle Petty. And Kyle Petty may have the opportunity here. He can get past Morgan Shepherd. I'd say he's got this in the bag. He does. Kowicki's now trying to get around him. And Kowicki will do so. Shepherd finally got out of the way. COVID gave us Chicago Street Race and North Wilkesboro return. That's actually wild. Yeah. Finally, lol. You mentioned with Dale Earnhardt. I know he had like a skull fracture, which they said killed him instantly. I'm trying to remember exactly what happened. Ooh, some cars scraping the wall there. Yeah, and then after Earnhardt's death, that's when they implemented the safer barriers and the mandatory Hans device, among other things as well. Nikita Batesville was given to Paralympic snowboarder Amy Purdy. Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Got about 3 to go. We're coming to 2 to go. I don't think Kowicki's going to catch Kyle Petty, but we'll see. I thought maybe when they were behind Morgan Shepherd, they could have used that to their advantage, but that has not been the case. As a matter of fact, Shepherd is still right in front of third on back. That's allowed for Petty and Kowicki to pretty much pull away. 2 laps remain. That tow truck protects every corner. Yes. Maybe does a 1990 Dale Earnhardt and gets a flat tire. Yeah, we'll see. Got some more lap traffic up ahead, but I don't know if there's enough time to where they're going to be a factor or not. I'll have to wait and see. Yeah, still a little bit of ways away, so they will take the white flag when they get back to the start and finish line. Yeah, here they come back to the start and finish line. White flag for Kyle Petty, as Alan Kowicki still back there in second. And they head into turn 1. There is some lap traffic ahead, but I don't think they're going to be a factor. How do you portray retirements for drivers who would actually pass away in the actual timeline? Well, again, it's just giving them the opportunity to run their careers and all that out, in full. And, because they never lost their life, they get the opportunity to do their whole career and see what would have happened. When it comes to retirements, it comes down to age, performance, stuff of that nature. And, you get to that point where it's like, yeah, around this time, we could see this driver retire around this time. Something like that. So, I wonder if Patty has her own Barbie in SNL. I think she would at this point, I think she's a pretty popular name, so I think they would have done something like that. All right, off the final corner, checkered flag waves, and Kyle Petty will win at Chicago. It's so cool to see how this channel has evolved and quality has improved since I started watching. Thank you so much. I really, I just want to continue to make good quality videos. I care about the quality, and I want to showcase the best stuff possible to you guys. So that means a lot. Thank you so much. Yeah, Mattel would definitely make a Patty Moyes Barbie doll. She'd be like Racer Barbie or something like that, That reminds me. 2 things. We are at this point in the timeline where Barbie Girl by Aqua did come out. Released in April of 97, so we are now that far to the timeline where that song exists. Shauna probably has her own Little Caesars pizza deal because... that's certainly possible, Maybe she does something with Kmart too, since that's a split sponsor. Before, Kmart goes... Barbie's Corvette? Nah, got Barbie's Cup car. So I think I missed like a 3-wide battle. Let me see if I can go back and find it. I think I missed a 3-wide battle that I wanted to go back and find real quick. The Barbie movie will have a stock car with the top cut off like Brad's half-price car. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Right as they got around Shepard. Thank you. Okay. Oh, wait. Well, that's why they went 3-wide. Nemechek slapped the wall. Oh, man, that could have been wild. Nemechek was just able to wheel it and hang on there and keep his position despite scraping the wall, holding off Moroso and Mark Martin, as well as Ricky Rudd there, his teammate. I do love including lore into this storyline just to make it feel more authentic, more unique, and stuff of that nature. So, you know, I love doing stuff like that for sure. Huh. I don't know what happened there, but my Streamlabs OBS just muted my mic for some reason. I meant to say, yeah, I love incorporating lore because it just makes it feel more unique and authentic and stuff of that nature. And, you know, it's fun to explore that and what could have happened. As my good old friend Griffdog would say, the lore! But, yeah. Barbie versus Oppenheimer rival drivers in 2023 SNL. Maybe we'll see a Herbie fully loaded tie-in car. Oh, yeah, because I remember the Herbie paint schemes. I remember seeing that movie in theaters. I remember it very well. I'll never forget the scene with Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson. They're just looking at Herbie, and Jeff's like, that car just winked at me. And Jimmy's like, Jeff, are you feeling okay? He's like, no, seriously, that car just winked at me. I think you need to sit down, Jeff. No, I'm serious. That scene was so funny. And again, I know Jeff Gordon was also in Looney Tunes Back in Action because they were in Las Vegas. And I guess Jeff got valet parking for his race car. He's like, it's a modified Chevrolet with the 24 on the side. Can't miss it. And suddenly, Yosemite Sam steals his race car. Well, of course, in this timeline, it would probably be, yeah, it's a modified Ford with the number 1 on the side of it. It's red, got the golden arches. Can't miss it. Patty would also guest star on The Simpsons as one of Lisa's role models. I could see that, yeah. Maybe Cheeto sponsors a car in the future. Tammy Jo Cook probably has a funny Twix commercial. Oh, certainly. Race Jam, yes. Yeah, because, oh my gosh, I feel like that needs to be a thing in this timeline now. Because they were proposing that with Jeff Gordon. And sadly, we never got it. So, man, I forgot about Back in Action. I remember I played the video game to it all the time on the PS2 as a kid. I still have it. I still have my old PS2, and I'm sure if I hook it up, it still works. Looney Tunes paint schemes. Yeah, yeah. What will Racing Infinity Volume 69 be? It's got to be something crazy, right? It's got to be something big, or something goofy or something of that nature, And it's got to be released on April 20th. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Sometimes I can't help but wonder what Racing Infinity Volume 100 will be like. Still a ways away from all that, but, we'll get there when we get there. Oh my lord, yeah. Racing Infinity 69 just edging finishes off so long. Oh no. Oh no. What have we done as a society? We really do live in a society, don't we? We really do. This comes back to my ideas of a Cars movie Racing Infinity coming out on April 1. Yeah, I know there's car sets for that. That would actually be kind of neat. Oh, man. Let me fix this. Good enough. So yeah, stick around for a little bit longer if you guys want to talk and discuss about anything. These streams have been pretty fun. Not gonna lie, these streams have been pretty fun. So, what have we done, sir? It's what have you done? We just joined the show. Where is Hermie Sadler in this timeline? He is currently a full-time Busch Series racer. That DeWalt car you saw in the Busch Series was his car for 97. So, I wonder when Race Jam would have come out. Because Space Jam came out in 96. It would have been interesting to see what a Race Jam movie would have looked like back then. I assume a movie like that probably would have come out like very late 90s, early 2000s maybe. I wonder which car Harvick drives in the 2000s. Just got to wait and see. He's definitely one of the young drivers to continue to keep an eye out for, especially in the coming 1998 and all that. Oh, is the ARCA going on right now? Is it on FS1 or is it on Flow Racing? SNL in like 2015, there's a documentary or a biopic about Petty versus Earnhardt over the years. It would be really cool, especially if Earnhardt was still here today and all the stories that he could probably tell, would be pretty neat. And ARCA race is done. Oops. It's on FS1. I forgot it was ARCA night in America. It's on tape though. Oh, William Sawalich won. I see. It looks like LeVar Scott got second. Tony Breininger got a top 10. It looks like so did Amber Balkan. Good to see. Oh. He probably won because Zilich wasn't in the race. Anyway, sorry I had to. And before Danica gets 8 championships in SNL. Oh gosh. Press that Britney Spears NASCAR movie happens in Sunday Night Lights. I know Britney Spears was in that commercial with Jeff Gordon. Wait, Britney Spears wanted to do a NASCAR movie? I'll be honest, I didn't know about that. Who do you think would do the Memorial Day double on SNL? I will say that's something I'd like to touch on at some point, for sure. Is the Memorial Day double. Okay, let me look this up. Okay, NASCAR Reddit. Whatever happened with the Spears NASCAR movie? Let's see. Okay. Let me read some of these comments real quick. Probably the same thing that happened to the rumored Space Jam sequel titled Race Jam with Jeff Gordon. It died in early development when someone with sense walked into the room. The Space Jam spinoff seems more plausible since Gordon was known in the mainstream and appeared in Looney Tunes Back in Action. I would totally watch a Race Jam based on Looney Tunes coming together with drivers. It was toxic. Oh gosh. Let me read these articles. I didn't know this was a thing. Wow, okay. Page not found. Oh, what about this one? The date, Tony and Brittany. The date may be April 1st, but according to British tabloid newspaper The Daily Mirror, there may be a romance in the air between defending Winston Cup champion Tony Stewart and pop star Britney Spears. Never once to print a scurrilous rumor or untruth, the Mirror's notorious gossip mongers 3 a.m. heard that Spears was somewhat smitten by the 31-year-old Rushville, Indiana native when the two met during the Samsung Radio Shack 500 weekend at Texas Motor Speedway. Gosh, that could have been like Taylor and Kelsey today. This kind of reminds me Steve Park. I think either he went to the same high school or they were close by, but he actually like hung out with Mariah Carey when he was in high school. I think he shared that story one time, which I thought was kind of neat. Tony and Brittany greater than Travis and Taylor? Yes. Well, I'm not gonna lie. That actually could have like thrusted NASCAR into the spotlight even more at the time. Obviously, I know Brittany had her struggles. Let me continue reading this. It's from Crash.net. This was from like 2003. The column, which may have previously stemmed from a previous call to the equally notorious Howard Stern radio show in the U.S., recognized Tony Stewart as a 5'9" former karting champion, neglecting to mention his Indy Racing League championship, at the time 15 Winston Cup victories in 2002 championship. That seems odd. Okay. In the column's favor and Stewart's, Spears is a self-confessed NASCAR fan and recently took part in the Richard Petty driving experience at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Oh, she actually was a self-confessed NASCAR fan? Okay. She is also looking to undertake a movie about NASCAR racing in which she plays a Winston Cup team owner. Oh. However, thanks to the intrepid reporting of the 3 a.m. girls and their forever handily placed spies, Stewart fans all over the world learned that when he isn't driving the number 20 Jogius Racing Home Depot Chevrolet, a big cart, he can be found eating his mom's spaghetti and listening to Dire Straits. That is wow. I didn't know Britney Spears wanted to do a NASCAR movie. That okay. Well, damn, I learned something today. It's total BS, but it's interesting to think that British tabloids talked about NASCAR at one point in time. I was going to say, yeah, this article does seem a little odd. But still, I mean, if this was actually like a rumor at the time, then that would definitely be something. I thought it would have been Jeff and Brittany since she was... Yeah. I wonder if I can read up more on this. Or at least just, like, hear about her appearances and or, like, her being a NASCAR fan and stuff of that nature. That would have been interesting. Considering that, you know, in this timeline you got the popular female stars already. Not that I think this would have been a good movie, but I'm actually kind of intrigued by the concept. Yeah, it would make an interesting concept, and I think, well, you know, that is interesting. Wow. Plot twist: Rockingham, UK replaces Rockingham, US. I always wondered what would have happened if Britney Spears actually owned a NASCAR team, even in real life. Yeah, you never know. I didn't know Smoke was a Dire Straits fan. Yeah, there was 2 links. The SI one's dead. The CrashNet one, yeah, it does, as you mentioned, it does feel like a tabloid or whatever. Wow. Well then. Well, that's an interesting talking point. Okay. Yeah, I did not know that there was some sort of rumor about a Britney Spears NASCAR movie. It's kind of ironic because they just recently announced that there's going to be a Chiefs holiday love story being made or something, like a movie. You know well Travis and Taylor are involved. So that is kind of interesting. But yeah, I thought there was another article somewhere where Steve Park like hung out with Mariah Carey when he was in high school. Let me see this. Steve Park, Mariah Carey. Let me see. Steve Park became acquainted with Mariah Carey in high school through mutual friends as they both grew up in the same area. There you go. I'm trying to find that article on it because I knew there was something. Let's see. I thought about something, Gray. What if you would make the fantasy teams of Dimwit and Peyton Racing into Sunday Night Lights? I know there was stuff like, I know Jerry Jones came close to working with Andy Petrie. Of course, there was Fitz Bradshaw with Terry Bradshaw. Hank Aaron almost had a team going. Of course, The Rock almost had a team at some point. If this was in 2003, the movie might come out in 2006. And we get that, Cars, and Talladega Nights in one summer. Man, NASCAR fans would have been eating good in 2006, man. That would be interesting. Yeah. That would be interesting. Dimwit. Oh, Dennett Racing? Yeah, Dennett. Dennit. Dennett Racing. Yeah. What if Michael Jackson owned a NASCAR team? Um, Well, that would be interesting for sure. Um, you know, I knew there was like a J Ski April Fool's article from years ago that said like, oh, Michael Jordan's starting a team, and of course now he's got the team now, so it's kind of crazy to think and look back on that. Um, let's see what else. Man, you learn something new every day, don't you? We could use another good NASCAR movie here soon. Of course, I know that I'm wondering to see if they'll make a Days of Thunder sequel or something like that. The King of Pop sponsors the King of NASCAR. Yeah, I actually saw Richard Petty at Gateway. He was, as I got into the track, he was taking pictures with the Petty 75 statue and all that. So it was kind of cool to be in that presence. Air Jordan Racing. Yeah, was that the old J-Ski article? Was it Air Jordan or whatever it was? Oh man, I just saw this from the Milwaukee Brewers. What is this? After the conclusion of today's game, an escalator at American Family Field moving fans from the terrace to lodge level malfunction, resulting in an increased downward speed. 11 people were injured in the incident, 5 of them treated at the ballpark and 6 others transported to area hospitals with non-life-threatening injuries. Our on-site physician and EMS were on the scene immediately, and we are appreciative of their quick response. Oh, goodness. Hope everybody's okay. That's scary. I have not seen Logan Lucky. I've only seen the trailer and the NASCAR stuff, but I have not seen much of Logan Lucky. Peyton Racing is from her. Oh, that's right. Yep. Okay, I remember now. It is from Herbie. Yep, I know what you're talking about. Miller Park will be undergoing renovations in the next 5 years. Yeah, I think I heard something about that. Yeah. Let's see. If I remember right, Logan Lucky is the highest critically rated NASCAR movie somehow. Noah Gregson fan, how are you? But yeah, celebrities owning teams would be pretty neat. Just kind of depends who and who'd be interested and stuff like that. See, I'll stick around here for a couple more minutes, and in case you guys have any more questions or anything like that, just let me know. I'm definitely taking it easy for the rest of the night. Been up since 3 a.m., but I had a nap after work, thankfully. Let's see. Tony Stewart appeared in No Man's Standing. Oh, yeah, Last Man Standing. That's actually one of the shows I tag at work. And I have seen that episode a few times. I believe that's an earlier episode, too, because that was like his 2011 car, too. That was around the time he won that championship. Especially since Tim Allen actually owned an IMSA team. Oh, he did? Maybe I heard about that before. I have to look that up. Yeah, we've had a lot of fun discussions tonight, I gotta say. Definitely had a lot of fun discussions. Oh, man. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the races this evening. And enjoy the race tomorrow as well. So, yeah. I admit I kind of run out of stuff to say. I apologize, but 2005 SNL Cup fight between the three Earnhardt kids in a tight points race. Well, you never know, right? You never know. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching as always, and stay tuned for the next Racing Infinity that's coming very soon. As well as, of course, stay tuned for more updates regarding Sunday Night Lights 1998 and all that good stuff. So, Alex spoils Sunday Night Lights 2024 for them. Okay. How do I... Gosh, that's tough. It's so far into the future. Adam Petty will retire in 2024. I don't know. I don't know. Will Dan Partis make more than one start? Well, just depends. We'll see what happens. But apparently a deal fell through for Jeff Gordon to run a Pepsi Britney Spears paint scheme. There's mock-ups out there of what it could have looked like. Wait, really? Is that for real? Oh, man, that could have been interesting. Wow. I'll have to look that up. Thank you. But yeah, as always, thank you guys for watching and tuning in. These streams are always so much fun. I think, we had 21 at some point, so that's actually a pretty good number for these streams. So, yeah, thank you guys so much as always, and I'll get to work on those cars for SNL and get those out when I can. And, yeah, thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys next time.